All right, Niners beat the Giants. Pig and a Pickle Krug Show recap afterwards, and the Niners a good win. Good win on the road, 34-24. Mac Jones was perfect in the first half. He threw for 235 yards, 2 touchdowns. Offensive line did a good job. They opened up run lanes for McCaffrey. Niners ran for 159 yards on 39 rushing attempts. They did enough offensively. McCaffrey was good. As a runner, as a receiver. The rest of the receivers did just a little bit. Jennings, Bourne, Kittle, Sky Moore. Jordan Watkins caught a ball, but overall, good win for the 49ers. Defensively, Tatum Bethune, 16 tackles, 8 solo. He was the star on the defensive side. Upton Stout played really, really well. Renardo Green, I thought, had a very good game. Really good performance. 49ers, once again, though, no pass rush. Only 2 sacks, only 3 hits on the quarterback. The Giants are a bad team, though. And, the Niners ran the ball down their throat. They didn't put very much pressure on Jackson Dart, but they did get a bunch of hits on him. They hit him a bunch. He ran 8 times for 56 yards. He doesn't really see the field. The Giants are not a great team. And that's why they're 2-7. So there you go. Good win for the 49ers for sure. And now we'll see if they do anything at the trade deadline. The bad news in this one was Mykel Williams went down with what we think is a MCL injury, or some kind of or ACL injury, I should say. We don't know the extent of it. He'll get an MRI. We'll find out. Maybe he's just, maybe the initial prognosis was wrong, but they seem like they think that it's a torn MCL. We'll get the definitive word on that tomorrow. What does that mean for the 49ers? It just means they lose another really valuable defensive player. And they just keep falling like flies. I mean, they've asked this guy to play a ridiculous number of snaps because of all the other injuries they've had, and then he went down. It didn't look all that bad, and in fact, he walked off the field. But they can do kind of some initial tests with how they kind of feel around on the knee, and obviously they feel like it's a torn ACL, but we'll get definitive word on that. Does it increase the Niners' likelihood of making a trade? I would say so, because they just lost a defensive lineman that plays a lot, plays inside, plays outside. It's a hard guy to replace. He's a guy who plays a lot of snaps. So, and this is just why it's been such a tough year, because like anything they get in trade, it's like, oh, one step forward, a couple steps back, and it's just a very frustrating thing. So they lose Mykel Williams most likely for the year, though we'll get definitive word on that later. And more importantly, they get the 6th win of the year. And they bounce back from a really ugly game against the Houston Texans. So Mykel Williams looks like he's going to be out for a while, and the 49ers are going to have to decide what they're going to do at defensive end. Let's hear from Kyle Shanahan. He talked to the media afterwards, and he had a lot of good things to say about his quarterback today, Mac Jones.
Kyle, how do you assess Mac's performance today, and what does he just continue to show you week after week?
I thought Mac did a hell of a job. Extremely efficient what he was doing, going against a real tough pass rush. Probably only one negative play in the game, just a fumble there at the end of the second quarter. Hell of a play by, I think it was Brian Burns who did it. But Mac played really well, took care of the ball, got the ball to the right guys, and made a couple plays with his legs too.
All right, there you go. A little bit of Kyle Shanahan. He liked what he saw from Mac Jones, and who wouldn't? Mac Jones completed 100% of his passes in the first half. He completed 79% for the game against a really good defensive line. Not a great defense, but a great defensive line. Shanahan also weighed in on his young linebacker, Tatum Bethune. Bethune with a tremendous performance. It's just really amazing when you think about how well Tatum Bethune has played. 16 tackles in this game, 8 solo. He had a pass defensed. He even had a bad penalty where he had a big hit on Jackson Dart, and they called a personal foul, and it was easily a clean play. Here's what Shanahan had to say about young Tatum Bethune after the game.
Kyle, Tatum had a 16 total tackles today. What have you seen from him? He's just flying around the field.
He knows how to play the position. He's got a good real knack for playing football in terms of in the box and making tackles. I think he's getting better and better in the pass game. Had some big hits today. I know he got that one penalty, but from what I saw, I disagreed with it. So we'll see when we see the tape. But I can't say enough good things about Tatum today.
Yeah, I mean, Tatum is just a big-time player. He was really good at Florida State. I mean, this guy just loves to show up at the football. And he didn't have great speed, but you know what? He's improved his speed. He worked on his speed in the offseason. He's picked up a step or two, and wow, now he's fast enough. And you saw the results: 16 tackles for Tatum Bethune. Kyle was also asked, of course, about Brock Purdy's toe. Wouldn't be a 49er press conference if Kyle wasn't asked about Brock Purdy's toe. Here's the toe update.
We'll reassess it the same way we did this week. Wasn't that close to doing it. I considered it throughout the week, but I just want to make sure he gets 100% better and don't put him out there too early. Thought about it as a possible backup or emergency, but I think the more time we give him, the better.
Does that uncertainty every week where you guys say maybe he'll play, maybe he won't, do you see that affect Mac's preparation at all?
No, nothing changes Mac in that way. And, it's, we're trying to ease Brock out there in the practice stuff. But, anytime you're dealing with this turf toe, it's something that probably won't fully go away all year. Regardless of when he comes back, he's going to always have to deal with it a little bit. Especially the people you talk to have gone through turf toe. So it's really about just assessing when's the best time to come back that you have to deal with it the least. And it's a little bit of a tricky decision.
Is there a possibility that he'll need surgery after the season?
Not that I've been told.
So there you go. It's not going to heal, fully. So it's all about pain threshold. So, my whole thing would be like, hold him out as long as you can. What game do you want him for the most? Super Bowl Sunday. What game do you want him for second most? The NFC Championship game. What game do you want him for third most? The division round game. What game do you want him for fourth most? Probably the wild card game. It's like, so save him for the playoffs. Don't play him. This little back and forth. It's not like, well, it's the kind, it can't get worse. It can get worse. So, if they had played him off the bench today at MetLife, whether they want to acknowledge it or not, people would just, if he had gotten hurt today, they would have just absolutely held Shanahan and Lynch and the Niner organization's feet to the fire. Oh my God, you brought him back at that disaster turf, So that was not today was, I didn't think was ever really a realistic possibility. But then the other question is, isn't the solution for turf toe just rest? Why don't they just let him rest? Let him actually rest and not practice. So it doesn't sound like they're doing this right. I got to be honest. I don't know I don't want to say that they're doing it wrong, but the doctors that I've talked to said, man, you got to really rest that thing. He practices during the week. So if he's practicing, couldn't he hurt it at practice? He had a workout on the field that he supposedly then felt pain from before the Atlanta game. So I don't know. I'm not, I can't really speak with any authority on this. I'm not a doctor, but it does seem bizarre. You've got this injury and you've got this quarterback and he's not going to heal. And so then you want to hedge your bet. Well, then why would you even consider him back now? Just because now's now? What's so important about this? The New York Giants, you're going to bring him back for the New York Giants or the Carolina Panthers or one of these in the middle of the year? What for? Why wouldn't you just hold him out? And, my thought is the only thing that makes sense to me, which is I talked to a doctor. He said 2 to 6 weeks is pretty normal for a turf toe. 8 weeks would be better as far as resting it. This was, I think, the 5th week or 6th week. Give him a few more weeks. It's week 9. Next week is week 10. Your bye week comes week 14. I think you let him rest into the bye week. You get that extra week. And then after the bye week, it's not like it's like playoff time. You have 4 games before the playoffs, and then you're going to have 3 games most likely in the playoffs. So you still have almost half your season still to play. I don't even know why they would even consider bringing him back right now. Jones is playing well. He hasn't sat out the recommended 6 weeks, let alone 8. And what do you risk reward? You want Brock Purdy back? Yeah. But is he your best quarterback? Yeah. But you want him back. You want him to play the games that matter the most. And those, so I'd hold him out. If I'm winning games like they won today, now they've interchanged win, loss recently. But if they could get on a little bit of a run and win a few games in a row, sit Brock Purdy until after the bye week. And then at that point, you want to bring him back then. I would still kind of play it by ear, but that's when I would consider bringing him back. I don't let him play before the bye week because realistically, I mean, and the question is this, and I'm sure nobody asked this question because Shanahan might not even have an answer for this. The question would be this: when you do bring him back, how many games do you think he could play before he got hurt again, before he got hurt worse? You know, and I know there's probably no way to estimate that. It could happen on the first play of the first game. It could never happen. He could play 4 or 5 games, so I'm sure that's probably the answer, which makes, it very tricky as to when to introduce him to the mix. But I would say if you're winning, just ride the hot hand. Don't look the gift horse in the mouth. It's hard to win in the NFL. If you're winning, stay with Mac Jones. If you're losing, then maybe you got to go to Purdy. And then you got to take your chances. How long is he going to be there for you? But what do you want? I mean, I would rather, if I know I've got, so you got, what are the Niners right now? They're 6-3. They've played 9 games. They got 8 games left. So they potentially have 11 games left, right, with the playoffs. So you figure, what, Mac's going to play maybe half those games? Maybe Brock could play half those games. So, I would give him another month. It's early November. Wait until after Thanksgiving. Bring him back in December. He'll have 3-4 weeks to play football before the playoffs, and then the playoffs are here. That'll be my plan. But I haven't talked to the doctors, and who knows. But so there you go. Brock Purdy. I mean, Kyle Shanahan on Brock Purdy's toe. They want to be careful with the toe. 49er Football on the Krug Show is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and, of course, Sleeper Picks for daily fantasy, where you choose 2 to 8 players pregame or live and pick more or less on their statistical projections. If you're new to it, use promo code Larry, and you get a 100% deposit match up to $100 on your first deposit. And now Sleeper has a new offer. They're giving out $20 for free to first-time users. No deposit required. And on top of that, first-time users are also receiving a 100% deposit match up to $100. The link is right there in the description. Terms and conditions apply. Thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show, and it's an awful lot of fun. So check out Sleeper, and we appreciate Sleeper for being a sponsor of the Krug Show. Let's hear from Mac Jones. Mac Jones talked about, his first half. He went 14 for 14. And did he have any idea he was perfect at halftime? Here's Jones.
Did you know at halftime you were 14 of 14?
No. Am I supposed to?
I don't know. Did you feel like, okay, I haven't had an incompletion yet? Or
no, I never really think about it like that, to be honest. Just because it's more about are my eyes in the right spot, but that is cool. And I mean, honestly, right before half, we had a touchdown, and I just took too long and didn't step up on that fumble or whatever it was. So we really were going to score there. So I was pissed about that, but just trying to keep moving the offense down the field however we can do it. And what a great job by the offensive line with the running game and limited sacks.
I mean, it's interesting. You don't know that you've had a perfect half of football, that you're 14 for 14. But you know what? That's the right answer. I mean, you don't want to be that aware of your stats. Your stats don't really matter. I mean, your stats matter at the end of the year for getting paid, but do they really matter in the game, or does your status within that game and your position within that game matter? So in a way, it's kind of refreshing to hear Mac Jones say that he was unaware that he was 14 of 14. Let's hear from Trent Williams, because Trent Williams was asked a key question after the game. And the question was, John Lynch has referenced that, this team, once Bosa went out and Warner went out, that, it's like, yeah, he may make a trade to bolster the roster, but that the roster would have to kind of earn that by how well they played. And now here the 49ers are 9 games in at 6-3. And the question was asked today, have the Niners done enough to kind of send that message to John Lynch that, go make a trade, go add to this mix? Here's what Trent had to say.
I'm always hopeful that the front office continue to do what they've always done. It's try to put us in the best position to be a championship football team. So, I know John and them work magic. So if not, we have in this locker room, and I think that's enough. Obviously, the front office will continue to do their job.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have that belief that you have enough in the room. You can't be waiting for, reinforcements. But, John Feliciano did say a couple weeks ago, and I heard him say it, hey, when you get a great player and he enters that locker room, it really does lift up the rest of the team because it's just like, hey, our GM did us a solid. It's like, hey, we're a better team than we were. And what it really does is just creates the same thing. It really does this exact same thing inside the locker room as it does for the fan base. It creates some juice. It creates some buzz. It creates some excitement. It kind of relieves the boredom of the drudgery of a long season. It means a lot. It means a lot when you add a significant. If you just add anybody, it's just like, okay, we're doing something, we're making moves. But if you add a difference maker, all of a sudden here comes Trent Williams into the room. Here comes Christian McCaffrey entering the room. When somebody of significance walks in the room, it lifts up the whole team. It gives them energy. And energy should not be, that's not a laughing matter. It's hard to have the energy that it takes to get through an NFL campaign that starts in July and doesn't end till February. And there's a lot of head banging and there's just a lot of, so you need that enthusiasm. You need that excitement from the players. They have to kind of feel juiced up. You want a team full of guys like that. So I think that's the other residual impact of making a trade is that you don't just get better and add a player, but you also get the guys that are in the room really excited. And I think Lynch has popularized the midseason trade, is probably as much or more so than almost any GM in the sport right now. And he's had a lot of success doing it, and he's super competitive. And Shanahan is as well. It has to make sense, but there's enough options out there that I think they're going to definitely make an addition. I don't know if they'll make a home run addition, but I think they'll definitely make an addition, and there'll be some statement from the front office that, yeah, we believe in you guys, and we're going to try to help you guys fulfill all of our goals and get to that Super Bowl 60. All right, we have one more cut here. Let's hear from CMC. You could see that, CMC, when he was talking to Brian Robinson on the sidelines, was super thrilled for his running backup because he knows Brian Robinson was a starter before he got here, and now he's playing second fiddle to CMC. But Brian Robinson had a great game today. 5 carries, 53 yards and a touchdown, 10.6 yards per carry, 18-yard run. Here is CMC after the ball game talking about the B-Rob touchdown.
Awesome, man. He runs so hard, and it feels like this whole season it's just been you could tell he's itching and might not be the way he wants it to be right now, but to have him is huge for me. It means a lot to me. He pushes me, and the way he runs, if we can continue to kind of get that flow of the game in there, man, I'm really excited. And you couldn't ask for a guy to have a better attitude, to come into work every day and to have that mindset and to keep pushing. So really pumped he's in our room, and I think it's only going to get better.
Yep, no question about it. And it was great to see Robinson run successfully. Man, he could be a demoralizing runner because he runs upright and he starts running over people. He's got great power. He can run through arm tackles. So, it took him a while to get used to the scheme a little bit and get used to the plays and that whatnot. But expect Brian Robinson to have a nice little finish to his year. All right, that's going to do it for us. Of course, the Niners go to 6-3 with a 10-point win in New Jersey over the G-Men. And it's been an interesting little run. The Niners started the year with 3 wins in a row, right? They beat Seattle in Seattle. They beat the Saints in New Orleans. Then they came home, and Mac Jones beat Arizona in the home opener on September 21st. Since that point, they've gone loss at Jacksonville, loss against Jacksonville, win against the Rams in LA, loss at Tampa, win against Atlanta, loss at Houston, win against the New York Giants. So on paper, I guess this should be due for a loss, but the Niners have gone win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win in the last 6 weeks. So it would be nice to see them stack some wins together. This would be a big one because if they get this one against the Rams Sunday at Levi's, then you've got going into the bye week, Arizona, Carolina, Cleveland. Carolina's definitely playing better than they were early in the year, and you never know with Arizona. They're a tough division opponent. Cleveland, every time the Niners have played there, it seems like it's a tough game. They got a good defense. But those are all very winnable games as well. So, 6-3 right now. They go to 7-3 next week. They could be looking at 9-2, 9-4, something like that. Going into the bye, something like that. It could be really, really good. They're playing well. It was a good win, and it was good to see. It was great to see Bethune do his thing. It was good to see them get Brian Robinson going. It was great to see Mac Jones bounce back with a great performance. And the 49ers, unfortunately, they can't play a game without losing a player, and we'll find out on Monday about Mykel Williams. But a much-needed win and a much-needed bounce-back performance. And more than anything, they ran the ball. And when this team runs the ball, it feels good about itself. And that's a key factor as well. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. One last thought on this matchup. Just looking back at the game, it was a really good game because I thought there was a chance after that first drive that the Giants could give the Niners trouble all day. But the Niners offensive line really took control. And Robinson had his best day as a 49er. The 49ers ran 39 times for 159 yards. And anytime you can have a 39 rushing game for 24 passes, that's the kind of balance that you want against a team that has a dominant defensive line that can get after the passer. And then, you know what? The other thing I thought they did a nice job of, Dart ran a few times. He had an 18-yard run on one of his runs. He ran 8 times for 56 yards. But they hit him. They really did. They hit him all day. He probably had his most physical game of the year today. They really hit him. The penalty on Bethune was a bogus call. And they did a nice job. I thought the coverage was tighter on Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, Theo Johnson. It wasn't as tight as it needs to be, but it was tighter than what we saw a week ago against the Houston Texans. And then overall, to face this kind of a defensive line and to only give up 3 hits on your quarterback, who's not the most mobile quarterback, and he's battling knee injuries, I thought that was good. I thought the Niner offensive line really stood up. I thought Tatum Bethune was spectacular with 16 tackles, just fantastic. And Mac Jones is really playing well. The ball comes out on time. He's accurate. He can process. He's smart. He's a leader. What a find. He has saved their season without a doubt. All right, that's going to do it. Hit like and subscribe on your way out. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle, Sleeper, and all of you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.